Welcome back to Go Gaddis Real Estate Radio right here on AM 920 The Answer. We're continuing in this segment with our special guest who's from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Caroline, thank you so much for sticking with us through the break.
Yes.
Hey, I have a quick question for you, and I hate to turn this into a commercial right off the bat here, but if somebody wanted to, if they're listening and they're like, I'd like to support the Children's Miracle Network or Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, how would they connect with you so they could figure out, what might be the best path for them to support the hospital?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always visit us on social media. Our Instagram handle is Children's ATL, and then also for giving, and then all just sorts of information, whether you're needing to visit us at one of our urgent cares or emergency departments, or if you'd like to make a donation, you can visit CHOA.org or give.CHOA.org.
Give.choa.org. And I would assume if somebody just wants to make a $500 donation or a $1,000 donation or a $2 donation, they could do it all right there?
Yes, absolutely. We say it every single day in the foundation. Every single penny counts. Every single dollar counts. Anything that you are feeling compelled to donate is going to help directly benefit our patients and families.
Do you know, and this might be a little gauche for me to ask you this, but do you know how much money is collected most years from the RE/MAX partnership with Children's Miracle Network here in Atlanta?
Yeah, so our RE/MAX partnership, we had such a fantastic year in 2023.
Okay.
We actually over doubled the fundraising from the previous year.
Wow.
And what was amazing with that is actually RE/MAX Center brought in our pickleball benefit for the first time.
Yes.
And that event in itself raised just under $16,000 through the pickleball benefit. It was such a fun event. Highly recommend.
Did you go to that?
Yes,
You
yes.
did?
So I actually,
wow.
yes, I got to work with the RE/MAX Center team over in the Beaufort and Duluth area, and we actually put together the tournament, hosted everything at Pickle and Social. It was such a great time.
I love that. Well, and you can also tell that I have not been involved. I used to play in the golf tournament that they had every year. And since they switched over to pickleball, I have not been in town to be able to go. But I got to put that back on my schedule for sure. Now, during the break, you and I were talking about other initiatives, other whatever we want to call it, where Children's Miracle Network money is used in the hospital. And I described the money being used in sort of hospital adjacent, and that's probably not the right term, but like the dogs are just to make the whole hospital experience better. But you have a couple of other things, and one of them is actually in equipment that gets used by the patients and the nurses and the doctors. So talk to us about other uses of Children's Miracle Network money in the hospital.
It's awesome with Children's Miracle Network funds is we're able to designate that money wherever it needs to be. So whether that is research that all of our research team is diving into, as well as different areas within the hospital. My favorite example is our Child Life Zone. That is a space where our kids, it truly is like the biggest playground. It is so much fun. It's all in, we have an inside area and an outside area. We've got mini golf, we've got a basketball hoop.
Whoa.
And then of the zone, we've got all sorts of arts and crafts. We actually have donors and different organizations who come in and can do patient parties with the kids. So they'll come in, they'll play games, we'll do crafts. It's always a good time in there.
Almost the equivalent, but different of the dogs. Like how do we get these kids distracted for just a little bit? Because I would assume, lying in the bed, and not that they would worry about things like an adult would, but they have to be scared to death in some cases, and to get them just to have a little normalcy in life. And heck, their kids are supposed to be playing anyway. They're not supposed to deal with all this serious stuff. Now, I have been to the hospital. Now, the old location, I have not been into the new location, although now that I say that, that might not be true. I might have been in the new location, but anyway, I need to go back, but I need to come in there and see it. But my favorite place in the entire hospital before was right outside of where they would treat people for cancer or whatever the floor was. And it was a little bell on the wall. And when someone was finished with their treatment, they would go ring the bell. And even as I talk about it now, it almost makes me emotional to talk about it, because it was such an amazing thing, because I was standing there while somebody rang that bell. I don't know how old they were. They probably looked like they were a young teenager, maybe not quite a teenager, and I think it was a little boy if I remember correctly. And do you still have that down there?
Yes, so the bell is such a special piece of some of our patients' journeys. So we have a bell on our AFLAC floors, which is our AFLAC Cancer and Blood Disorders Center.
Yeah.
So we see kind of a different plethora of different treatments and diagnoses that go through there, but the ringing the bell is a really big thing, and it's not just exclusively a children's thing. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen it at other
Yeah,
hospitals before, but to me, it seemed
yeah.
even more meaningful when it was a child. That's probably not even appropriate for me to say, but it was just it inspired me so
No,
much. So
it's so
so I
special.
have kind of an operations question. So do they do different things at the main campus versus the one in Sandy Springs versus the one downtown, or they have like different specialties in each one of those locations? Why do you have three locations? Because it looks like that one is big enough for everything.
Right. Well, truly the purpose behind the new hospital was there's a increasing need as the population of the state of Georgia is increasing. We're seeing more and more kids. So there was truly a need for this hospital space. But I love that you asked about why do we have three different hospitals? So all three of our hospital campuses have full service, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, emergency departments. So any sort of emergency
Okay.
we're ready and available for. And then all of our hospitals also offer just your generalized care. But some of our specialties moved around when we moved out of our Eggleston campus and into the North Druid Hills campus.
Hmm.
So all of our AFLAC and cancer blood disorders patients are all housed under Arthur and Blank Hospital, and they're spread across 2 floors. Which is wonderful. And we have our BMT unit there, which is really, really important to have for those patients.
What's BMT?
And
BMT?
that is a bone marrow
Bone marrow
transplant.
transplant. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then our Scottish Rite Hospital has a heavy, heavy focus on rehab, which is really unique. So perfect example of Children's Miracle Network funds that help something in our rehab department is our rehab pool. So this is a pool that has it's, I believe, like an 8 by 8 square.
Like a swimming pool.
And yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
swimming pool, but the floor of the pool can be adjusted. It can go all the way up to where you're just
Oh.
walking on an inch of water, or it can go all the way down. And there are cameras inside of the pool. So the therapists are able to work with the kids who are relearning how to walk, or if we're working on running, but
Oh,
not quite ready
wow.
to put their full weight down on anything. So it's a really, really awesome service that we're able to have there.
Wow, that is so cool. Now, as I drive north on 85 in the evening, and I told you I love looking at it with all the beautiful lights, and it looks like I've called it a hotel twice on today's show, so it looks like a big Ritz-Carlton hotel. There are probably another 6 or 7 buildings in that area that were built before that one was built. What are all those other buildings?
Yes, so our North Druid Hills campus was recently completed. So we do, like you said, have a couple different buildings there. That front building on the corner is our Center for Advanced Pediatrics.
And that was
That
built
is
that was built first, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
Okay.
that was the first one.
Okay.
And so that building holds pretty much any specialty you can think of under the sun. And so we only see appointments in there with all of our different specialties, and it ranges from our like ENT doctors to specific urologists and rheumatology and everything in between. And the great thing and kind of purpose behind that building was some of our more medically complex or kids with multiple diagnoses were driving from this clinic to that clinic all over Metro Atlanta. And what's great about the Center for Advanced Pediatrics is everything is right there. So we ideally can get multiple appointments service at the same time for those kids or within a certain day, which is really great. So that makes it just a little bit easier on those families who are dealing with multiple diagnoses and multiple specialties.
Absolutely. And then some of the other buildings, or do you have like
Yeah.
administrative people in some
Yes.
buildings, and are some of them are just
So
doctors' office buildings and stuff?
yeah, so our other building, we have 2 other buildings on that campus. So
Okay.
one is our support center, which is where I work,
Okay.
and that houses all of our non-clinical staff. So there's no patient-facing anything that goes on that building. That's just all of our non-clinical staff.
Okay.
So our foundation, marketing, and all those different things. We also do our like onboarding sessions there and trainings there for some of our nurses.
Okay.
And then the last building on campus and the most recent is our Ronald McDonald House, and that just opened, I believe, just before Christmas. So brand new, and that space is just incredible. We're able to have lots of families be able to stay there who need it, and it truly is just such a beautiful building.
Love that's for families who really need that. I love those Ronald McDonald houses. We've got about a minute and a half left in the segment. Would you mind giving information so if somebody wants to make a donation or get involved or maybe even come and volunteer, how do they go do that? And I think the website's probably the best thing to best resource to give.
Yes, so everything is housed under CHOA.org. You can find all sorts of things there, whether you're looking to visit us at one of our urgent cares or emergency departments. You find all the information you need there, as well as volunteering. Ways to donate is going to be under give.choa.org. And we truly are just so grateful for anyone who feels compelled and willing to donate. We say it every day, every single dollar counts. So please let us know if you're wanting to get involved.
Caroline, thank you so much for being with us this morning, and I'm going to take you up on your offer to get a tour sometime soon. I'm going to wait till my fiance
Absolutely.
Tammy is in town and bring her down. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you so much for being with us. When we come back in our Neighborhood Spotlight, we're featuring Townsend Creek, which is in Suwanee. Also, why does the Mercedes-Benz Stadium have to lose its name during the World Cup? And could it be that the World Cup reshapes rental rules in Metro Atlanta and throughout other host cities? We have that and more. Stick with us. We'll be back.